Andrea, do you want me to make you host?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And can you make me co-host, please?
Sorry, what did you say, Deborah?
Can you make me co-host, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It is 6:31 on the dot. My name's Andrea Fulgray. I'm a senior planner with DeKalb County's current planning division. Before we hop into the Community Council 5 agenda this evening, I just have a few staff announcements from our team. It is important to note that our regularly scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting that was in July has now moved to August. It'll be held August 13th instead of the end of July, though Planning Commission will still remain on July 7th. So just make a mental note of that if you plan on coming to the Board of Commissioners meeting. It has changed the date, but it will still be in person at Sam Street in Decatur. Other than that, thank you for being here tonight, and I will pass it over to CC5 Board Chair Malia Evans.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Malia Evans, and I will be chairing this Community Council meeting for District 5. The public hearing represents the first step in DeKalb County's review of applications for rezonings, land use, map amendments, special land use permits, major modifications, and text amendments. Community Council members are volunteers appointed by the district commissioners and serve to represent the interests and perspectives of residents and stakeholders within this commission district. The procedure for this hearing is as follows. The chair will announce each agenda by item and provide a brief summary. The applicant and/or their representative, along with any speakers in support of the application, will have a total of 10 minutes to present the proposal as submitted. Applicants may reserve a portion of the time for rebuttal. All speakers in support or opposition must state their name, address, and any organization they represent before speaking. The chair will then invite those wishing to speak in opposition to the application. Speakers in opposition will also be allotted a total of 10 minutes. Opponents may not reserve time for rebuttal. All comments must be directed to the council and not to the applicant. Once the allotted time has expired, members of the public will not be permitted to speak unless recognized by a council member for the purpose of answering questions or providing clarification. After public comment has concluded, the council may ask questions of the applicant. The council will then consider the application and make a motion to recommend one of the following actions: approval, denial, or deferral. Please note that this council's action is advisory only and does not constitute a final decision. The recommendation will be forwarded to the Planning Commission, which will consider the application at its virtual public hearing scheduled for July 7th at 6 p.m. and make its own recommendation of approval, denial, or deferral. Finally, the application will proceed to the Board of Commissioners for an in-person public hearing on August 13th at 5:30 p.m., at which time a final and binding decision of approval, denial, or deferral will be rendered. I pass it back to you for the roll call.
Thank you. Now CC5 members, please be prepared to unmute yourself as I go through the roll call. Dennis Allen. I saw him join.
I admitted him, Andrea.
Were you able to make him co-host?
Yes, I did.
All right. We will come back to Mr. Dennis Allen. I'll mark him as present. Maybe he is having some audio issues. Elizabeth Andrews.
Present.
Caitlin Brewster,
Present.
Peter Butts,
Present.
Kenesha Calhoun,
Present.
Barbara Campbell,
Present.
thank you, Malia Evans,
Present.
Charles Piegler, Linda Jones Williams. I believe she messaged me that she's going to be out of town. She's excused. Leona Perry
Present.
and Florence Shafiq.
Present.
Thank you. I'm going to loop back up. Dennis Allen, have you been able to adjust your audio?
Hello?
Hey,
Okay,
we can hear
I'm sorry.
you.
That wasn't me. That was you all that had me muted, but I am here and present.
Oh, sorry about that. We'll make sure you're able to unmute.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and just for the record, we are officially beginning the agenda at 6:37 p.m. If you can start reading out the new cases, Malia.
The first case is N1 2026-0707. Application of Virginia Singh and Manny Singh for a special land use permit SLUP to allow a package store in the C2 General Commercial Zoning District and Tier 1 of the Hidden Hills Overlay District. Okay, applicant, you can go ahead.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the Community Council. My name is Manny Singh, and together with my wife, Virginia Singh, I'm seeking approval to redevelop the vacant former Walgreens property at 5395 Covington Highway. Madam Chair, I'd like to use maybe 3 to 4 minutes of my time, and then Ralph Branch, one of our partners from DeKalb County, will speak for a couple of minutes, and also one of our supporters, Maurice Sharp, can speak for a couple of minutes. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
Before I begin, I want to acknowledge and respect the opinions of those who oppose the proposal. I appreciate everyone who has participated in this process and shared their concerns. This project is not simply the establishment of a liquor store, it's a multi-faceted community revitalization initiative designed to address economic decline, improve public safety, and create opportunity in an area that has experienced significant commercial development, a lot of vacancies, documented issues in the broader area involving illegal dumping and property misuse, a visible decline in maintained commercial infrastructure. This is a commercial reuse and not changing a residential street, and also improving a highly visible corner. For us, this proposal is about the responsible redevelopment of a vacant commercial property at a major intersection. Rather than allowing the building to remain empty, we want to reinvest, maintain it, and become long-term owner-operators who are actively involved in the community. Next, community engagement. From the beginning, we understood that listening to the community was important. We have participated in 3 community meetings and reached out to more than 210 local residents and businesses. We have spoken with community leaders, business owners, and neighbors to better understand their concerns about safety, property maintenance, and the future of the Covington Highway corridor. Not everyone agrees with this proposal, and we respect that. But through these conversations, we have learned that there are many different viewpoints within the community, and we have worked to respond to those concerns in a respectful and constructive manner. Next is safety. One of the most common concerns we heard was safety. That should be the next slide. Our commitment is simple. This will be an owner-operated business. We will be actively involved in the day-to-day operation of the property and will not be absentee owners. We are committed to 24-hour camera surveillance, enhanced exterior lighting, strict ID verification, a zero-tolerance policy for loitering, and ongoing cooperation with law enforcement. Andrew, could you change the, yes, sorry about that. We have even expressed our willingness to work with the county regarding the possibility of a police presence or public safety use of a portion of the property if that is considered beneficial or for any other community use. The next slide is on the community support. Throughout the process, we have also received significant community support. To date, we have received more than 1,000 online supporters, more than 200 physical petition signatures, and dozens of written comments supporting the redevelopment of the property. Importantly, approximately 80% of those supporters are from the surrounding area and neighboring communities. These numbers demonstrate that community opinion is not one-sided and that many local residents support bringing investment, maintenance, and active management back to this vacant site. Next slide. At its core, this proposal is about investing in the future of the corridor. Our commitment is to maintain and beautify the property, create local jobs, operate responsibly, and be active partners in the community. We have good experience building gas stations and liquor stores, and I had emailed everybody some of our previous projects, and I'm sure you guys had a chance to look at those. We have listened to the community, we are committed to safety, and we want to responsibly redevelop a vacant commercial property as a long-term owner-operator. We respectfully ask that this application be considered based on our commitments, our experience, and our willingness to be accountable members of the community. Whether someone supports or opposes this proposal, I hope we can all agree that we want this property to be safe, well-maintained, and a positive part of the Covington Highway corridor. Thank you for your time and consideration. Now I would request my partner, Ralph Branch, to speak for a couple of minutes. And if you can let him in, please.
I'm sorry, who was the partner?
Ralph,
Loudon?
Ralph Branch, loud and clear. Yeah, he's got a different name up there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello.
He should be able to speak.
Can you all hear me?
Yep. Just speak up a little bit, please.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Ralph Branch. My address is 2377 Clifton Springs Manor. It's in Decatur, 30034.
All right. Is there anything else you want to?
Yes, actually. I'd like to say good evening to the chairpersons, members, and staff, and all others in attendance. Like I said, my name is Ralph Branch. I've been a DeKalb County resident since 1998 and a local business owner since 2002. Every day I travel across my county and I see too many vacant buildings, struggling shopping centers, and underutilized commercial properties from South DeKalb Mall to Belvedere Plaza and beyond. As business owners and community members, we have a choice. We can continue to watch these challenges grow, or we can support small business, responsible investment, and redevelopment. And that is why I support this application. I personally witnessed Mr. Singh engage with residents, faith leaders, business owners, and community stakeholders throughout this process. I've seen a willingness to listen, make adjustments, and invest in a property that has sat underutilized for far too long. No singular project can solve every problem facing DeKalb County, but progress starts when people are willing to invest, create jobs, improve properties, and believe in the future of our communities. I respectfully ask for your support in moving DeKalb forward and accepting this application. Thank you.
Next is going to be Maurice Sharp, if he's on there.
We don't yet see a user by that name. If you would please raise your hand virtually.
There's a Maurice in the waiting room.
He's in.
Are you there, Maurice? I'm so sorry about this miscommunication.
No worries. Is there anyone else that you would like to acknowledge so that staff can help try to find them online to unmute?
We'd like to reclaim our time. If we need, we can come back after the opposition have spoken and maybe he can.
Good evening.
Oh, he's there. Sorry.
Yeah, somebody just allowed me to speak. Good evening. My name is Maurice Sharp. I have been in residence in DeKalb County for a number of decades. I moved here from Ohio since 1979. Okay, I moved to Lithonia in 1987. I have seen the decline of property, business, all of it, okay, since that time. I support Mr. Singh because I'm looking for something to begin the rejuvenation of revenue in DeKalb County. Okay, we have again a number of businesses that are leaving, okay, with nothing put in its place. And with the commitment from Mr. Singh, I do believe we can begin a comeback, okay, at least in this area. Okay, I have worked at the building, the car wash on Covington Highway before it was closed. I have worked at the business next door to that before it moved up the street. Okay, I really don't want to see another establishment, okay, go derelict just so it can be an eyesore in our community when there is an opportunity for that building to make revenue in our community. I don't understand why we would much rather see that building go delinquent. Okay. I do believe that Mr. Singh will follow through. Okay. He will make a pledge to our community, and we will continue to see our support from him. Okay. As he has done in the previous years. Okay. Respectfully, I ask that you guys really consider his application and let it go forth. Okay. With that being said, I wish everybody a good evening.
That's all I have from my side, Andrea.
Okay.
Um,
Is there any
Malia,
more?
I see a few folks with their hands up. If you want to reiterate that this is a time to speak in support.
Yes. If anyone else wants to speak in support of this, you can raise your hand and we will call upon you if you want to speak in support. And I think
And
Zoe.
Malia, I'll reiterate that once you raise your hand, staff will ask you to unmute. At that time, you need to accept the request to unmute.
Thank you.
Thanks, Whitney. Yeah, it looks like after we clarified for people to speak in support, the hands went down. So, Malia, you can have the applicant use the final 2.5 minutes of their time.
Mr. Steen, is there anything else that you would like to say? You have roughly about 2 minutes left.
We can use that for rebuttals if needed, no problem.
So, Andrea, do we move to
Yep.
oppose?
So, Timekeep, can you start the time over for 10? And Malia, this is where you would ask if anyone has to speak in opposition.
Got it. So we're now moving on to opposition. So if you would like to speak in opposition, please raise your hand. Please remember to that we will unmute you and you will have to push accept to be able to speak. And please keep in mind that it is a 10-minute limit for everyone to speak. We can get started now. So do you want me to call the people, Andrea?
Yes, that'd be helpful.
So it looks like first I see Nancy Bailey.
Nancy, you have been asked to unmute. If you can unmute yourself. Staff, can we make sure that Nancy has the ability to unmute herself?
She should be able to now.
Good evening. I think it was sent to me in error. This is Charlene Matthew. I don't think it went to Nancy.
My hand is up.
We can hear you, Nancy, and we'll get back to you, Charlene.
Okay, my name is Nancy Bailey. I am a longtime member of this community and an active member of the community, along with the school, church, and senior organizations and other of the community. I am in totally opposition to this. First of all, a liquor store is not an investment in our community. It brings nothing but more crime. It does not offer a number of jobs that would sustain a household. I would also like to know the family members, the family who would like to bring this business into our community. Do they live in our community? And if not, I would like to know, have you considered building your business where you live to grow your community? Also, I feel like a liquor store could not support our education system because we do not want our children exposed to alcohol, which is we also know is a drug and can become very addictive. We have liquor stores in our community already that serve as nothing but a hangout for illegal activities. There are cameras on each corner, but those cameras have not deterred the crime. What is growing the crime is the business. So I would like to say again, bringing another liquor store to this community is just another layer of downfall for the community. We don't want it, we don't need it, and I ask anyone and everyone that has the authority to please do not authorize this business in our community because, first of all, we live here and we don't want it.
Thank you. All right, next, and again, let's keep in mind we have about 8 minutes left. Samson Xavier.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
So my name is Samson Burrell. I am a community activist. Um, the applicant mentioned that he sent out an email or some letters to the surrounding corridor. There are 7 neighborhoods off South Indian Creek and Covington Highway. No one in those 7 neighborhoods received an email or any corresponding to this liquor store at Covington Highway. Also, let me say this to the applicant. Do you know how many liquor stores is in a 5-mile radius of that former Walgreens? Obviously, you don't. There are 18, including gas stations. Why would we want another liquor store making it 19? That makes no sense. So this is what I have to say to the applicant and anybody that supported. We are going to fight this all the way to the BOC. We will not allow another liquor store, another gas station, another tire shop in this neighborhood. Do we want and development? Yes, we do. But we will not sell for a gas station or a liquor store. And again, if you don't live in this neighborhood, I would encourage you to build this liquor store where you live at, because we don't need it over here. Thank you.
Just a reminder for people who are speaking in opposition, please keep your comments directed to the Community Council 5 board. They're assessing your application tonight, not to the applicant. Thank you. Malia, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. Phyllis Frierson.
Yes, good evening. My name is Phyllis Frierson. My address is 1528 Hidden Hills Parkway, Stone Mountain, Georgia. I am a 36-year resident of this community, and I am a business owner for 34 of those years. I also serve as president of the Greater Hidden Hills Community Development Corporation, a 501c3 organization founded in 2013. Our mission is to support the Hidden Hills Overlay District by promoting quality economic development, attracting preferred types of businesses, establishing design standards, conserving green space, and improving connectivity for pedestrians, cyclists, and transit users. A little bit of background about the Overlay Code. The Hidden Hills Overlay Code was initiated in 2009 and adopted in 2011 following extensive input and collaboration among DeKalb County Planning and Sustainability and the many communities within and around the overlay district. This rigorous process produced an overlay with clear goals and objectives. Chief among them was the commitment to advancing quality economic development throughout the Greater Hidden Hills community. To support that goal, the Overlay Code prohibits certain types of businesses, liquor stores being included, because they do not align with the community's vision for quality economic development. In 2011, residents made their priorities clear, and those priorities remain unchanged. The community continues to support certain businesses, for example, more cafes and sit-down restaurants, high-quality grocery stores, a broader mix of retail businesses and housing, entertainment venues, and professional services. For these reasons, the applicant's proposal for a liquor store violates the Hidden Hills Overlay Code, which the residents of Greater Hidden Hills worked diligently to establish. We therefore respectfully ask the Community Council to recommend denial of this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Zoom user.
They do have the ability to speak and unmute.
So Zoom user, are you able to unmute?
Hello, how you doing? I hope everybody can hear me. My name is Osagi. I'm a business owner on Panola Road. I've been at that business for about 11 years now. I was
Sir,
struck
you
in the
have to
other.
wait until the chair calls your name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that not
Thank
the
you. We're
Zoom
going in
user?
order.
I'm sorry. That's not the Zoom user speaking? Oh,
No.
okay.
You can go on to the next person.
Okay. All right. Mr. Rod Ferguson.
Is it me? I'm not sure.
There you are.
On Zoom,
sir.
this is big.
Go ahead, Mr. Farson.
Yes. My name is Rod Frierson. I'm president of the Hidden Hills Civic Association. I live at 1528 Hidden Hills Parkway. The Hidden Hills Civic Association has publicly expressed strong opposition to the proposed establishment of a liquor store at the vacant former lot. Yes, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. At this property on Covington Highway, citing concerns from residents, business owners, and community stakeholders who believe the use is inconsistent with the area's long-term vision for redevelopment. The HHCA has had conversations with nearby residents, members of the local business community, and we have shown that there's broad opposition to a liquor store at this location. Now, community leaders, they all say that they are urging that the property owner and the prospective developer to consider another type of business that would better serve the neighborhood needs and contribute more positively to the future of the Covington Highway corridor. The property lies within the Greater Hidden Hills Overlay District, an area created to encourage economic development and track preferred business types and support mixed-use, pedestrian-friendly growth along the corridor highway and surrounding corridors. So community representatives say a liquor store at this site would not align with the goals or with the character of the residents and the stakeholders who want to see this in Hidden Hills. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farson. Pakisha Jackson.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Pakisha Jackson. I live at 1861 Claremont Road. My zip code is 333. I am a community activist. I am a director for Jeffrey's Helping Hands nonprofit organization, 501c3, in the community, in the DeKalb County community. I am very much opposed to the liquor store being built in that community. For one, as I've heard earlier, someone said, we are overwhelmed with liquor stores. Number two, I don't see how it would benefit our community whatsoever to add an additional liquor store to that community. What my foundation does is help bridge gaps with communities. We were housing a day camp. No information. We had no idea. Had it not been for the community activists in the community to inform us of what was happening, we would have never known. We also attended the rally on Saturday. The residents of the community, hands down, the few people that spoke in favor of the liquor store, I listened to the zip codes, and I would only have to say, if you think that this liquor store would add or revitalize the community, then I would suggest as well, please build it next door to your home, your community, your schools where your children go and play. It's about what we see. If growing up you see 1 million or 10 liquor stores, you would be more likely to be an alcoholic. But if you see more schools, you would probably be more likely to be a scholar. That is common sense, sir, ma'am, board. And that's all I'm asking, is that we use our common sense and oppose the adding of another liquor store. And thank you.
Okay. Well, that ends our time for opposition. And I believe the applicant had reserved 2 minutes for rebuttal.
First of all, it is important to note that the countywide business density of liquor stores is not the controlling factor for SLUP applications. The critical metrics are local proximity, spacing, and site-specific impact. This location stands independently as a redeveloped commercial parcel at a major intersection, and this proposal does not contribute to localized market saturation as mentioned by some of the folks. Yes, I do not live in DeKalb County, but one of my partner lives in DeKalb County, and the other one also lives in Tucker, and they have a CPA business on Lawrenceville Highway and 285 intersection. So 2 of my partners are in DeKalb County. I don't. And also, this is going to be an owner-operated project. Most of the liquor stores that are on Covington Highway, from what I know, are leased out from landlords from different owners. That's the reason they're not well maintained. Ours is going to be owner-operated and managed by us directly. Plus, we have 1,000+ support online petitions. And I believe there is a lot of, we have almost 200+ signed support letters too. So there is considerable support. I believe there is opposition. Yes, there is. But there is also a lot of support. And 80% of this support is from the surrounding areas. And as far as other businesses, Publix has left, Walgreens has left, restaurants are closing down. We are wanting to put in a business that's going to have a long-term life and also a solid tax base for the county. For those reasons, I am supporting and wanting to do this liquor store. I'm going to be a part of the community. Whether we get this license or not, if I get this license, I would still have my mind open to negotiations with Hidden Hills and see if we can have a community support way to help them out. That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you. So next, I'm going to open the floor to the council members for questions. So I'm opening the floor to the council members for questions. I see CC is for Kanisha Calhoun.
Hello, everyone. It's Kenisha Calhoun. Question for the applicant. Were you aware prior to your application that this property lied within the Greater Hidden Hills Overlay District and that this form of business was not in alignment with what their plan is for their area?
Yes, I mean, that's the reason we are going through the SLUP process. I mean, if it was automatically okay, then I would not have to go through this process. I understand that. Yes.
Okay, and then my next question, I heard you express that you are aware that there is several gas stations in every direction from this particular property, and saturation of this particular business is not of your concern? Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear.
I'm more concerned about the liquor store. I'm not talking about gas stations here. The liquor stores, this is a major intersection, and this intersection does not have a liquor store. The nearest liquor store is not within a mile. There are quite a few liquor stores within 3 to 4 miles. I understand that part, and they do very good. And I strongly believe that there is a good possibility of being successful here. There used to be another liquor store on the Wesley Chapel intersection with the 20 that shut down a few years ago, like 10 or 15 years ago, and that was for tax reasons. So there's quite a bit of market that's there, and there's been a lot of growth in population since 2011. The last liquor store license was given in 2011 in that area. So since then, the population has increased almost 25 to 30% in that area, and also in DeKalb County. Within a 5 mile radius, I mean, normally the liquor stores are not measured, the distance is not measured in a straight distance like a crow flies. It is driving distance. And nobody's going to drive 5 miles this way or the other way, which is 10 miles for a liquor store. And the population within a 5 mile radius is 229,000 folks in that area, as far as SMAP website, and I can forward those later on. I should have done that before. So 221,000 folks in that area. So I don't see that there is a saturation issue with the liquor store. I can't talk about the gas stations. Gas stations are getting approved left and right. And if this is not approved, the next thing you're going to see is a quick trip or a racetrack right at that intersection. That's choice.
Complete with your questions?
And one more question. I know you got signatures in favor of this particular establishment. Are you aware that there was a petition going around for opposition? I don't know if anyone on this particular call tonight has the amount of signatures for that petition that's in opposition.
Manny, you are muted, so if you are responding, just make sure you're unmuted.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm aware of the opposition petition, and I know as of this morning they had 700 plus opposition signatures. I'm not sure what the count is right now, but we also have 1,000 plus in our favor. Thank you.
Thank you. And may you share both of those petitions with the council tonight, please?
Is that a question for me?
Yes, sir. Or one of your representatives. If you said 1,000 in favor, and then I'm hearing 700 in opposition, I would like to see both of those petitions. Or maybe you can send it to the planning staff and they can forward it to us.
Yeah. Do you want me to share it right now, or I can forward it later on? I mean, how do you guys want?
For the sake of time, you can forward it later on.
Okay, that's fine.
Will that complete your questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'll finish with my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member Dennis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I have seen those petitions online and all of that, but I've got questions for the applicant as well as for the community. But first of all, I just don't, and I'm all for community revitalization, but I have never heard of a liquor store being the focal point or the driving force behind community revitalization. So let me just throw that out there. And I guess one of my concerns would be in terms of looking at the best possible use of the property when we are trading it. And I understand that Walgreens is having some issues and they're closing down stores across the nation. So it's not unique to DeKalb County, but we're trading in a business that was dedicated to community wellness to a business that I'm listening to National Public Radio this afternoon, and they're talking about all the destructive results of alcohol and consuming alcohol. So we're talking about trading in a business that's focused on community wellness to a business that is going to cause our community health to deteriorate. So that would be a source of concern for me. Another concern would be in terms of looking at a liquor store setup. Liquor store don't really generate that many jobs. You got a bunch of liquor, you got one person at the door, somebody watching people so they don't steal. So a liquor store is not going to be a driving force for community development and job creation. So let's be genuine in what we're saying. And now at the same time, for the community, we've done a great job. I've listened to you. I'm hearing all this opposition, but what do we want instead of a liquor store? Has the community, and I know the liquor store is not in compliance with the overlay guidelines. It's not illegal, but it's not one of those businesses identified as preferred. Has the community done anything to attract any type of preferred businesses or done? I know we got the petition, and I'm aware of that, but what do we want if we don't want a liquor store? What do we want? I don't know if it's good enough to just say we don't want this for an empty building. What do we want instead? Do we want another Walgreens, another drugstore? What is so? I guess I would be challenging those in opposition to this and asking the question, has there been some thought or have you reached out to the business, the Chamber of Commerce? What do we want? If we don't want a liquor store, what do we want? Because just saying no without a plan, then you end up with the applicant said, just an empty building that's not being developed. So I think we need to go another step further with all that community activism and say, if we don't want a liquor store, what do we want? And what kind of business can we approach to maybe attract the type of business that we do want in the community? But let me go on record as someone who actually consumes alcohol, but I'm not in favor of a liquor store in the overlay district. And that will conclude my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other board members that have questions?
Just a reminder, the time for community opposition has ended. You are allotted 10 minutes. There's no longer time for community opposition.
Thank you, Andrea. I don't see any other board members that have questions. So we can move to next. Can I get a motion?
Can I rebut a couple of points that was made by Mr. Dennis?
The time for rebuttal is over. Is that not correct, Andrea?
Yes, I don't think Mr. Allen was really asking a question. I think he was just stating.
Correct. So at this time, I need to can I have a motion from the community council?
I'd like to move to make a motion to deny this application.
I second. Elizabeth Andrews.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor that has been properly seconded. So now on to the vote.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm going to do roll call. Again, the motion was for a denial.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Allen? Yay in support of the denial, nay in opposition to the denial.
Deny.
Elizabeth Andrews?
Deny.
Caitlin Brewster?
Yay.
Peter Butts?
Motion to deny.
Kenesha Calhoun?
Yay.
Barbara Campbell?
Deny.
Malia Evans?
Yay. And let me make sure I'm clear. Yay is we're saying
You're supporting the denial.
Okay.
Linda Jones Williams is excused. Charles Piegler is also excused. Leona Perry. Leona Perry.
Deny.
Florence Shafiq.
Yay to deny.
Motion passes with a 9 in support of the denial.
Thank you. Move on
Thank
to the
you.
next.
Thank you for your time. No problem.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next case. So we have N4 2026-0710. It is an application of Love Bugs Learning Home, care of John View, for a special land use permit to allow a child daycare facility for up to 6 children in the R100 residential medium lot 100 zoning district. Is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I can go ahead and commence?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll share my screen. I'll be presenting. Give me one moment. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had a great day and continue to have a great night after this meeting. My name is John View, and I'm the director of Love Bugs Learning Home. I'm here joined by my wife, Miss Alexis. And our proposal is for a special land use permit for a family child care learning home at 3319 Tarragon Drive, Decatur, Georgia, zip code 30034. Before I get started, first I would like to thank everyone for joining this, whether you're in support or opposition. Thank you for speaking up on behalf of your community. Thank you for District 5 community members for allowing us to submit this proposal to you all. And also, before I continue to as well, I always like to make mention that we moved to this community a few months ago, towards the end of 2025, with the intention of bettering the community. This family child care learning home, our intention was to provide low-cost, intimate daycare services to neighboring communities and to our community. What I mean by low cost means daycare services half the price of a normal daycare center for those low-income families or families that may not be able to, they have multiple children and may not be able to supplement the cost of a normal daycare. And what I mean by intimate, I mean, as you can see here, our daycare capacity will be max 6 children. So we're focused on the children's education, the children's development, and working with the parents to foster the children in the way that they deem fit for them as well, where we're not overpopulated in a capacity where we're just having numbers of heads. We're individualized for these children and focus on each children, know them by name, and actually hold them close to us. I'll begin. Thank you all. All right. Sorry, excuse me. So this is our request at a glance. The residence that I gave was 3319 Tarragon Drive, Decatur, Georgia. That is our home. This special land use permit is to use the basement of our home as a family child care learning center. As I mentioned, it's a family child care learning center. It's not a daycare center. With that being said, our intention is to have a max of 6 children per DeKalb standards and to keep the intimate setting too as well. We have 2 employees, myself being a director and Miss Alexis, my wife being the primary caregiver. Our hours of operations are from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We try to limit the capacity of these hours to not have any kind of detrimental impact to the neighborhood, where we're maybe having people coming in to drop off their kids in excess hours early in the morning or excess hours late in the evening too as well. As I mentioned, Miss Alexis is the primary caregiver. Miss Alexis has 7+ years of daycare, nanny, and childcare experience. She's also currently a CASA advocate, working with one family to help them and in the community. She started this process once we moved to the community, aligning with our intention to better the community. and our intention and her intention too as well is, again, to provide and foster the children that are here. On a weekly basis, Ms. Alexis sends a newsletter to the parents to prep them about what our academic development and is going to be for the upcoming week. Again, for some of these kids, some of their initial interactions are at this daycare, so we help to develop them socially and be able to make them help them develop into prominent members of our community. And again, we try to make sure that we consistently communicate with parents. So as I said, our residence is 3319 Tarragon Drive. We intend to keep the integrity of the residence as it is. We don't plan to add any kind of exterior signage. We don't plan to add to the residence. We don't plan to make any kind of storefront or change the residence at all. In total, the residence has 11 rooms. We will allocate 3 rooms in the basement for the family child care learning home. In the basement also as well is a kitchenette to serve the dietary needs of the children, and a full bathroom to meet the needs of the children too as well. The full bathroom in the basement meets the needs and safety precautions for young kids. And again, if I didn't mention, what we're planning to service are children from the ages of 3 months to pre-K, which is about 4 or 5 years old. In addition to that, we have interior cameras, which we, per the permission of the parents, intend to use so they can monitor the safety of their children if we have consensus allocation from the parents to do so. But in addition to that, we have exterior cameras so we can make sure that the property is properly protected. Also, I want to also mention that the family child care learning home interest is in the back of the residence. We have proper lighting and cameras, so we can make sure that parents are escorted to the back of the community, back of the residence properly without any kind of restriction. And the intention of having it at the back of the residence is so we can limit any kind of noise disruption to the neighboring communities too as well. One thing I do want to mention too as well on the next slide is our traffic parking and drop-off plan. Again, we're limited to 6 children. So with that being said, our intention is to stagger their pickup and drop-off times. Limited to 10-minute windows where we're not having excessive parents or families blocking the street parking, causing congestion. We do have a driveway that can accommodate 5 off-street parking spaces, but our intention is to not have more than 1, possibly max 2 families at the residence at the same time. As you can see, for the arrival flow, they plan to arrive in the driveway, have a brief check-in. That check-in will encompass them talking to Miss Alexis, Miss Alexis giving a brief check-in, checking on the welfare of the child with the parent in present there, and then the parent promptly departing, and we're preparing for the next family to do the same. And that reverse process we'll hear during the pickup process. I briefly mentioned before supervision and security with our camera system. And again, the drop-off being in the back so we can manage that security and we can see who's approaching the residence, who's attempting to enter the daycare. And one thing I do want to mention too as well is the daycare has a lock on the front door, multiple locks with electronic entry, and they also has electronic entry to the upper levels, the residential portion of the home. This is to protect the children themselves, so they're not roaming the house and potentially exposing themselves to unsafe hazards. So their area of operation is limited to the daycare only, and this is also to we bring only 2 people that live at the residence, but in case we ever have family or anyone visit, to protect the children too as well. So no one from the residence or visitors are visiting the daycare without express permission from the parents. Per the impact statement, we surveyed the area, and per help from Andrea, thank you, of nearby family child care learning homes or daycare centers. Within that 1,000-foot proximity, there is one located within the same neighborhood as us. We don't believe that this will be an issue because both are family child care learning homes where the max capacity, again, is 6 children. So it's not an over-concentration as it would be if there was multiple daycares within one neighborhood. We're very small, very low impact. In addition to us, we did not know that they had a daycare there, and I'm pretty sure they did not know that we have a daycare here because our intention is to have that entry around the back, where we're limiting that kind of that street exposure, we're limiting the noise, and we're limiting the traffic congestion. In addition to that, we'll work with Andrea to try to contact this family child care learning home that's within that 0.12 mile, 633 distance. And we were unable to contact them or confirm if they're currently licensed. We just wanted to get their support for our business, proposed business. But if they are not currently licensed, we're there to fill that void for them. If they are currently licensed too as well, we want to make sure that we work in accordance with them so we're not creating a negative impact on the community, but more so supporting the community by providing, again, that low-income daycare. This is just a brief overview of what I've went through already. We did have a community meeting. We sent out multiple letters per recommendation of Lysandra, and unfortunately, our community meeting did not have anyone in attendance. So if anyone's in dissension now or in the future, we definitely will be willing to accept any kind of reasonable conditions. At this point in time, I am willing to succeed the rest. I mean, to let the rest of my time be for rebuttals too as well. So I'm pretty much finished right now. Thank you guys for the opportunity to present to you all.
Okay, so are we out of time, Andrea?
Yes. So, John, you did use the 10 minutes. So we'll have 10 minutes now for folks in opposition.
Okay, all right, thank you. So now, if anyone who would like to speak in opposition, please go ahead and raise your hand and we will call you. Remember to accept once you're asked to mute and that we have 10 minutes. So, all right, we'll start with Keenan Webb.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I pray that you all have had a blessed day so far. My name is Keenan Webb. I'm a 24-year-old new homeowner in this community. First, I want to make it clear that I support children, families, and quality child services. My concern is not with the child care itself, but with the proposed location of this residential daycare directly within our neighborhood, and specifically right across the street from me being at 3320. And like I said, I'm a 24-year-old new homeowner, just closed on my house at the end of April. And of course, I had no idea about this. It definitely probably would have affected my decision to, purchase this home with knowing that this would be a daycare across the street. And as a homeowner who recently invested in this community, I chose this neighborhood because of its residential character, safety, and limited traffic. The introduction of a daycare at this location has the potential to significantly change these conditions. My concerns really include increased vehicle traffic during morning drop-off and afternoon pickup hours, additional congestion on our residential streets that were not designed for commercial level activity, safety concerns for residents, children playing outdoors, pedestrians, and homeowners entering and exiting their driveways, increased noise and activity throughout the day, potential parking issues and vehicles stopping along neighborhood streets, the long-term impact on the quiet residential character that current homeowners relied upon when purchasing their properties, such as myself. I respectfully ask the commission to carefully consider whether this proposed use is truly compatible with the existing neighborhood and whether the infrastructure and street design can safely support the additional traffic and activity it would generate. As homeowners, we have made significant financial and personal investments in this community. Even though me being a new homeowner, I definitely want to invest in this community. I believe it is important to preserve the residential nature of this neighborhood while balancing the needs of future development. Additionally, I would like to clarify regarding how compliance with proposed daycare's operation limits will be monitored and enforced. I know he said that, I know the applicant, stated that it's only designed for six children. But if the approval is based on the maximum of 6 children being present, who will be responsible for verifying that limit is maintained? Whether it be routine inspections, reporting requirements, or process for neighbors to raise concern if the number of children exceeds what was approved. As residents, we are being asked to accept the impacts of this use based on certain conditions and limitations. And it is important for homeowners to understand what mechanisms are in place to ensure those conditions are actually followed. That's pretty much all I have for today. I thank you for your time, and I appreciate you for considering my comments and concerns.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Samson.
Yes. So let me formally introduce myself. My name is Samson Burrell, and I am a former Community 5 council member. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe in the past there was an issue about having daycare centers, the senior daycares in residential neighborhoods. And one of the reasons is because of traffic. Also, I want to bring up this issue. The applicant said that he had a community meeting and no one showed up. Well, Mr. Webb just said he lived across the street and didn't even know about the community meeting. So I would like to know what information he was given to send out to people, because if Mr. Webb lived across the street and didn't know about the community meeting, then how many more people in that neighborhood don't have the slightest clue that he's trying to bring a daycare to that neighborhood? So I'm asking the community council once again to deny this application, because again, why are we changing residential residents now into communities? That was forbidden on the Community 5 Council years ago when I sat on the Community 5 Council, and I'm hoping that you all will and deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Venice Roy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity to voice my concerns as well this evening. Yes, my name is Venice Roy. I'm actually the real estate broker, well, one of the real estate brokers that assisted Keenan Webb in purchasing his home. So I'm here to also to oppose this application as well, because like Keenan said, like Mr. Webb said, in his search, he really wanted a community that he would have quiet enjoyment, and he would be able to feel safe and not have to worry about possibly things like this happening, where a business can be opened up across the street from his house. This was not one of the things that he was even thinking could have happened. But as soon as he called and let us know as far as what was going on, we definitely want to stand in support with him, because this is not what he started out looking for when he started out for his home search. So that is one of the concerns that we have. And once again, he purchased the home two months ago. So of course we had no clue until he actually saw the signs up in the yard. So that is our concern. That is my concern. So I'm here in speaking for support of Mr. Webb. And I do have the broker. She is also going to speak as well too, Valerie Conquy.
Thank you. All right, Valerie, you're next.
Good evening. Good evening, council members, planning and sustainability. My name is Valerie Conquy, and I'm here as one of the real estate professionals who assisted Mr. Webb in making one of the greatest investment of his life. And as a young man, as young as he is, having the ambition to purchase a home, thinking he will have a forever home for quiet enjoyment and to have a business is about to want to establish across the street from him. I'm disappointed. DeKalb County is a fine county, is a great place to live in, especially South DeKalb, Decatur. I love my community, and I'm not too far from him either, from where he purchased his home. To have 6 kids in a residence, you need sprinkler system. That's one thing. Do you have sprinkler system? The other thing is you are taking it. That's a daycare. When you have a child, 3 months, that's a daycare. And I am here to ask the planning committee, please deny this. We need to keep neighborhoods as neighborhoods. We need to keep residents as residents. We need to have business in business setting. We need to have things like daycare and all those things. We need to have it where it is appropriate and not in people's yard and home. Please deny these personal care home, daycare. What are we doing, people? Are we turning our homes and neighborhood into business? If you look, this is not work and play. This is residential. We need to put things in perspective. Okay, so I'm here in support of Mr. Webb. He's very devastated. He's very sad about his choice and decision, knowing that 2 months after his purchase, there's a daycare. Please deny this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, we are out of time for opposition, and so now I open the floor for CS Board to ask questions. And I see Mr. Dennis Allen. Go ahead.
Oh, good evening again. For the applicant, I just had a couple of follow-up questions. Has any type of state license been approved for this? Are you currently, do you have a DeKalb County business license to operate? Or where are you at in that process?
We're in the middle of that process, one of the steps in that process, specifically with DeKalb. So they will be the regulatory agency to make sure that we are limited to that max 6 occupancy, to make sure that the residence is meeting the DeKalb standards. One of the initial steps of that process is to secure zoning permits. So we're in the midst of that, but however, we have submitted the application to DeKalb. So we're just undergoing the steps.
Okay, and then also you mentioned now at this residence, is there yard space? I guess you mentioned for children, I guess infant to pre-K. So I would imagine there's not going to be a bunch of kids 2 or 3 years old running around in the yard, but maybe there is. Is there a yard activity, or did you have planned for outside activity in reference to Mr. Webb's concern, or what is your plan for programming?
Yes, the yard activity will be limited to the back of the residence, and the back of the residence is fenced. So with a gate too as well. So we plan to limit that capacity there and not be on the front yard, excuse me, or on the driveway, or on the street area in a fenced backyard.
And in a typical day, how much time would you anticipate having children outside where they are potentially disturbing neighbors?
1 hour or less, typically. We want to give them some outdoor
Is that like a
time.
recess or something?
Yes.
For lack of a better term?
That's correct.
And what are your hours of operation normally? What would those operation hours be?
8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we anticipate that normal, excuse my word of use of normal, but residents will be at their job, typically during the hours of 8 to 6 p.m. So by the time they get home, the daycare will be closed. So they won't have to deal with disturbances early in the morning nor late at night, because it'll be closed by the time they'll be open when they leave for work, and it'll be closed by the time they return from work.
Okay, thank you. That was all my questions.
Thank you.
And I did just want to add, sorry, Chair Evans, I just wanted to add from DeKalb County staff that this is the first step in the process for them to get their state licenses and their business license applications. So they're at the beginning of that process.
Thank you. All right, and so next we have CS Board Member Ms. Florence.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Allen certainly addressed 2 of my major concerns. One was the licensure, and also regarding my observations in regards to the presentation. The presenter announced that there will be 2 employees, one of whom he is the organizer and is not the actual care provider. And if you have ages 3 months to pre-K, that's a long developmental time span, which will require more than one one-on-one care for that different age group, even though it's only 6 members. And my concern is also the types of children, and there was no description of the behavioral requirements or if there were any intellectual and developmental delay. What are the criteria for admissions for these different students? And also the healthcare that's going to be provided. There was no mention about that. And I was concerned about the various behavioral attributes of the various students. So my concern is, as Mr. Allen stated, the licensure. And one other concern I have is it sounded more like a assembly line. As a parent, if you're expecting a 6-minute drop off and timing, a parent will want to know, well, how did my child do today? Are there any concerns today? There's always going to be some communication between a parent and whatever happened at that school or that facility for that particular day. So my concern would be making it seem like an assembly line, the licensure, the communication with the parents, et cetera, et cetera. So those are my observations and comments regarding this proposed facility. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Florence. So just to provide this update, Miss Alexis has worked in a daycare facility, and daycare facilities, usually per DeKalb standard, Georgia DeKalb, allow up to 12 kids per, it depends on age range, but up to 12 kids per caregiver. So this is half that too as well. And she also has that experience of having mass amount of kids. In addition to that, Ms. Alexis is in the process of getting her CDA license, which will help her educationally, and along with her experience and the education she already has, to administer to these kids, depending on their needs, depending on their health needs and stuff of that concern. Depending on their health needs, we plan to meet DeKalb standards for that too as well. We will be open to any kind of inspections that DeKalb is willing to give us at any point in time. We have open door policy for both the parents and DeKalb. In addition to that, in terms of the assembly line concern, we plan to use the application Brightwheel, where we are in a constant communication with the families via text. And that Brightwheel allows me as a director and Miss Alexis to have communication with the parents. In addition to Brightwheel, we plan to they have different functionalities in Brightwheel where you can note the meal times for the parents. You could upload videos, you could upload pictures, you can make notes on the kids' progress, educational progress, or social development progress too as well. So our intention is to, even though we're trying to mitigate the communal aspect and communal congestion, to keep a consistent line of communication with the parents. And I don't know if Ms. Alexis, you want to speak on that at all?
Yes, and so regarding the behavioral issues, of course, we can't deny anybody because of any behavioral issues or diagnosis, but we do have in our policies and procedures that we can't continue care for kids that are disruptive or aggressive towards the other kids. And we'll refer them to other places and places they can get better care. And also, we do have experience with having kids in the home. So for the zoning that we're doing now is for a higher number of kids. So that's what we're doing the zoning for now. But right now and previously, we have had lower kids before, and even right now in the home, and it has not caused a disruptance. Our neighbors next door actually have children with behavioral diagnosis and learning disabilities that have reached out for childcare with us, and they have came to our family days, and they're in support of what we're doing as well.
Ms. Florence, is that end your questions?
I have a quick question.
And I was going, I think Miss Elizabeth was next, and then you.
Okay, go ahead.
Miss Elizabeth?
Yes, I think my question is more for staff. So the application description does not mention the capacity being at 6. In the future, if the applicant decides to, wait, baby. If the applicant decides to expand, will he be required to resubmit an application?
Yes, so the description states to allow a child daycare facility for up to 6 children. Once you're out of 4 and 6, or once you go above 4 and 6 children, you actually would have to rezone to a commercialized zoning district. So it would have to go through another public hearing process.
Okay, thank you. And I have a follow-up question for the applicant himself. So your home, I assume, can accommodate 6. If you decide to expand in the future and resubmit, would that require you to do some modifications to your existing home structure?
We have no intention of expanding in the future. We have no intention of modifying the home in any way, shape, or capacity beyond where it's currently at. So we're going to limit ourselves to 6, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kanisha.
Hello. I have a question about the restroom. I believe I heard there's only one restroom for all of the children. How are you planning on ensuring that, males and females have the appropriate separate space?
Yes, so as we said, we are able to accept 3 months to pre-K, but that is the DeKalb standards. Our specific program is for 10 months to about 1.5 to 2 years. So we actually have a waiting list as well for when we do get licensed, and all of the children fit within those ages. So none of them will be using the bathroom anyway. They won't be potty trained. And so there's a separate area, there's a separate room for diaper changes, and that's outside of the playroom. There's no camera on that. So that bathroom is kind of just there as an addition, just in case, but the ages that we're serving, they will not need to use that anyhow.
Is that in your questions, Ms. Kanisha?
It does. And then one last question. Is your backyard fenced in?
He said yes.
Yes, he said it yes earlier.
They did? Okay, thank you. I missed it.
All right, Miss Barbara.
Thank you. And after this, I have a statement, Madam Chair. But I want to say the educational background of your staff, are there any persons who are licensed in early childhood or certified? Because I think when you have a daycare, you don't want it to be a high level babysitting. You want to see some growth in that program, even for the 3-year-old. 3-year-olds can be potty trained. So I'm just wondering about your growth process for your students. And is that bathroom the same bathroom that you all use?
So, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have any more questions, or were those?
Was that just one? Was that the one bathroom for the family? Your family? That's the bathroom you all use?
No, that's not our bathroom. No.
So
The daycare is completely separate from our residential area. Different kitchenette, different bathroom.
Okay, that's good to know.
And concerning your development question,
Yeah.
again, we'll be using the Brightwell application, which has on its application Georgia DeKalb state approved educational program. So we plan to adhere to that program. We've already signed up for the subscription for that. And again, during that weekly newsletter that we attend and send to parents, that we communicate with them adhering to that developmental progress. And concerning our specific experience and licensure, part of the DeKalb process is you have to obtain a CDA, Miss Alexis and myself are in the process of obtaining that CDA. And again, Miss Alexis has 7+ years of experience, hands-on experience, which is also part of that CDA process of daycare, nanny, and service experiences in more so daycare centers, where again, she has experience working with up to 12 kids as her as the primary caregiver in larger classrooms. So this is a little bit more intimate, a little bit more smaller setting.
Okay, could you refresh my memory on CDA? That is what? Development?
Child development advocacy.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted, Malia.
Sorry. Ms. Barber, did you have something else? Okay. Mr. Dennis, did you have another question?
I may have just forgot to lower his hand.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nope.
Mr. Dennis, you
He
have
just
something?
raised it again. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
thank you. I did just have a couple of quick follow-up questions. One of them, so I think your wife mentioned that you all were not allowed to really screen or pick and choose the type of children you had. So I guess the question would be, so you could have special need children or children with autism or something, so you have no way of controlling what type of the acuity of the children that will be there because you're not able to change that, would be my question. Because and I know I'm probably not going to say this the right way, but depending on the type of children they are, 6 kids in a yard could be a lot different depending on whatever their behavioral issues or whatever may or may not be. And it's not necessarily a good assumption to say that because it's from 8 to 6 that people may not be there. For example, since COVID, I've been working from home the last 5 or 6 years, and I wouldn't necessarily want 6 kids with autism screaming at me across the yard when I'm trying to close my books at month end. So I get that part about the quiet enjoyment. So that's what I was wondering about that. If there's anything you could share about that would kind of help me to understand. And with the age groups, if you mentioned like the up till 2 years old, 10 months or 2 years old, how many staff people will be there? Is it 1 or 2? Because that seems like a lot for one person to be trying to change diapers with 6 kids and try to watch the other ones while somebody's changing diapers. That seems like a lot for one person to be doing.
Okay, so like we talked about, I have years of experience in larger daycare settings where the ratio is 1 teacher to sometimes 12 children, even sometimes 24 children. I specifically worked at a daycare less than 10 minutes away from here that I had 24 3-year-olds to myself. And they were, some of them weren't potty trained, some of them were, so it was a mix. And there was no other teacher, helper, anything.
But 3-year-olds are different than 10 months to 2 years old. That's why I'm asking, because you just said you all were looking at kids from 10 months to 2 years old. So 3-year-olds are toddlers. That's a lot different than somebody 10 months to 2 years old. That's why I asked, because it seems different to me to be trying 3-year-olds. You ain't got to change diapers. 10 months, if you're changing diapers and there's only one person, it seems like it might be a bit much to only have one person there.
I
But
understand.
please educate me. I'm just asking a question. Please educate
Of course,
me.
I understand. In my experience, I would say the 3-year-olds who can run around and get into stuff is a little bit more challenging, hurt each other, bite each other, compared to the infants and young toddlers that just sit there and wait for you. So it has been way less stressful to have the less amount of kids than in a bigger daycare. for that part. And then for the behavioral issues, it is illegal for any daycare to deny a kid based on a diagnosis, autism, anything. But like we said, we have a strict policies and procedures that states any behavioral issues or safety aggression that we terminate the children immediately. And we have done that multiple times. We create a safety plan or behavior plan, and the day that doesn't work, we do terminate them because we want safety for all the children. We want it to work out, and we don't want to be stressed with the kids. It's not about numbers or money. It's about creating a safe learning care environment, as I am, as we said, a court-appointed child advocate. So yeah, they may have autism, but they're not going to be screaming or being disruptive or causing safety issues.
Okay, got you. And one last question. Were there any residents in your community that were able to speak out or in favor of your business proposal?
Yes, we actually have multiple. We've had families actually reach out to us for childcare and even donate. The family next door to us and the family across the street, I know that they were planning on attending the next meeting since they had seen that a little bit more serious. But yes, they'll definitely be writing letters or be attending the meeting, as well as other families in the community.
Yeah, and just to address the resident across the street, I believe he moved in after we submitted that county the community meeting. I believe he said he moved in 2 months ago, and I think that was submitted in February. So again, we're open to address any kind of concerns and meet with him personally to address his concerns, because I understand we moved into this residence too as a long-term home too as well, because we do still live here, and we understand that we want this to be a place where we all can thrive at too as well, but while providing a service to the community. So I didn't want to feel like that we didn't query the community. We did. However, I don't think he was part of the community at the time.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your questions and answers, but we've out of time at this point, so we don't have any more time for comments. At this time, I'm going to ask the board if someone wants to provide me with a motion. Do I have anyone that wants to give a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for deferral.
I second that.
Second it. Okay, go ahead.
We have a motion on the floor for deferral that's been properly seconded, and now we can move to vote.
If you're in support of the deferral, please say nay. Dennis Allen?
Point of order, did you say nay?
Yay.
Okay, I thought you said nay, excuse me.
I thought so too. Thank you.
Dennis Allen? All right, we'll come back to you, Dennis. We're not able to hear you. Elizabeth Andrews?
Nay.
Just to clarify, nay means that you don't support the motion to defer.
Correct.
Caitlin Brewster?
Yay.
Peter Butts?
Yay.
Kanisha Calhoun?
Yay.
Barbara Campbell?
Yay.
Malia Evans?
Yay.
Linda Jones Williams? Florence Shafiq?
Nay.
Motion passes with 5 in support of the deferral, 2 in opposition to the deferral.
Madam President. Oh,
yes. All right, so we're ready to move on to the next. We're doing in.
You all keep muting me where I can't vote. That's not me doing that. That's you all. The technology is keeping me from voting. So, but just for the record, I would like to vote in favor of the deferral to give the applicant and the neighbor across the street a chance to discuss and see if they can come up with some remedy that might be feasible to the neighbor that just moved in.
Thank you, Dennis. I have recorded your vote for the approval of the deferral. So now it is 6 in favor of the deferral and 2 not in favor of the deferral.
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
On the previous motion that passed, was it unanimous?
Yes. On the first one, yes.
Yeah, I would like for the record to read unanimous to make it a little stronger.
Okay.
I have a property in that neighborhood too.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Andrea, did you get that?
To restate which one?
So in the first, on the package store, it was unanimous. And she wanted to make sure.
That's correct.
Yeah, she wanted to make sure it reads unanimous because that sounds stronger than 9.
Sorry, to what?
You want to make sure it reads unanimous.
Okay, yes, yes. I will have that reflected in the minutes unanimously.
Okay,
Thank you. Sorry, I was having
you.
trouble hearing you both.
That's good. Thank you. Okay, so are you ready? Ms. Florence, did you have something before we move on?
Yes.
Okay.
My vote for the last one was so that I could say I wanted to deny it. But I mean, that it's a mute comment now. So that's why I said yay, which meant that I was opposed. I wanted to deny it. But
you wanted to deny the deferral or deny the whole thing?
I wanted to deny the case.
Yes or no, the motion was for deferral.
I know, and that's why I voted the way I did.
Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because we didn't, the motion came up one way and I wanted to actually have a different option than defer. I want to deny, but that's mute at this point. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we're going to move on to the last item. Thanks everybody for your patience. We're on N11-2026-0713, and this is the application of Director in Planning and Sustainability to amend Chapter 27-3.37, Division 37 of the DeKalb County Code of Ordinances. This application is for the amendment of the Greater Hidden Hills Overlay District to align with the vision and goals of the community for the future development of the area. All right, and we'll start with the applicant and supporters for 10 minutes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Great, thank you. Hi, my name is Trisha Prevost. I'm the senior planner for the long range planning team. And this evening, I'll be presenting the recommended updates to the Greater Hidden Hills Overlay District. Next slide, please. So many of you may have heard about this process that we began last year using survey feedback and research from other parts of the county, knowledge of current development trends. We were looking to update the Greater Hidden Hills Overlay District, which was established in 2011 after extensive community input and development of the overlay. In my opinion, the overlay was very much ahead of its time of the intent to establish regulations for mixed-use development, high-density development in this area of the county was very progressive. And at the time, development trends had not quite caught up to that in such a suburban context. And so as we, over the last more than a decade, we've seen these development trends and change and the community has not seen the type of development that they wanted to see originally. And so therefore, we're undertaking this update in order to tweak some of the standards. These are pretty minor changes that we believe can have a much greater impact because we're wanting to align them with the county's future land use designations, align them with current development trends so that we can achieve these goals of the community. So in doing some of this survey and public engagement, residents responded very well to mixed-use development types, reaffirming the original goals of the overlay. And while low-density single-family homes were the preferred detached housing type, there was a strong interest in cottage homes, so we wanted to address that as well. The priority changes are in tiers 1 and 2. I have a map later showing where those are at, but tier 1 is mainly Covington Highway and Harrison Road, and then tier 2 to the north is Redan Road and Covington Highway, or sorry, Redan Road and Harrison, as well as Panola to the east. So the current overlay standard requires 30% of any new residential development to include a commercial use. This is not aligned with county standards or current development trends. Below I have the, from our zoning code, the mixed use regulations, and other mixed use zones in the county only require up to 20% of commercial space within a residential community, even at the highest tier, MU 3, 4, and 5 require only up to that 20%. And so next slide, please. So we wanted to just make sure that this was in fact hindering development. And so we wanted to make some, again, very small tweaks that potentially can have large impacts and attract the type of development that the community wants to see. So first with tier 1, which is, like I said, Harrison Road and Covington Highway, we wanted to raise the maximum dwelling units per acre in order to comply with the underlying future land use. Again, when this overlay was established, some of these activity centers, such as neighborhood center, had not been established yet. And so the overlay was only allowing up to 30 units an acre, whereas the future land use, which was determined in a comprehensive plan update, would allow up to 40. And so again, these were not aligned. It could cause confusion with developers, and that density was much lower than what we identified the future land use to be. And so in the neighborhood center future land use, which again is just at that intersection of Covington Highway and Harrison Road, we raised that to 40 dwelling units an acre and up to 30 dwelling units per acre in the commercial redevelopment corridor portion. So the first graphic is all of tier 1, and the second image is where those two future land use designations are. And so again, that way it ensures that the overlay standards are aligning with the future land use. We also lowered the mixed use requirement to 20%. So that way any new residential development will only have to reach 20% commercial development. Again, this aligns more with the county code and development trends and will provide more flexibility for developers while still achieving that mixed use goal. We also added cottage homes as a permitted use. Now, these cottage homes must comply with the cottage home ordinance in the county code of ordinances. So there are very strict standards with that. They must be owner occupied, so on and so forth. So while it is a higher density single family housing type, there are still many requirements that help achieve the goals of the community and the overlay. We also required, Andrea, could you go back, please? Thank you. We also required created drive-through restaurants requiring a special land use permit. Again, this is based on the desire to promote pedestrian-oriented uses. I think in the past, the community has been maybe a little frustrated with seeing that development type. And so we would require a special land use permit for that. And then we also reduced the open space requirement. I believe previously it was at 15%, down to 10%. Again, just a small tweak that provides more developable land for developers to, because again, it was really hindering development, hindering applications. And so this way it aligns closer with county standards while still providing the goal or achieving the goals of the community. Next slide, please. Here we have tier 2. So again, this is at Redan and Harrison, as well as over at Panola Road and down at Young Road. We increased the allowable density up to 30 dwelling units per acre in neighborhood center. Again, this is lower than what the future land use allows. However, tier 2 is meant to be a less intense, less dense tier than tier 1. So we wanted to have that higher density, higher intensity along Covington Highway. It's a larger road that can accommodate, higher density development, whereas Redan, especially at that intersection can get congested. So we wanted to respect that separation of those tiers and keep that at 30 dwelling units per acre. Again, lowered the mixed use requirements, added cottage homes, requiring a special land use permit for drive-through, and reducing the open space requirements. So tiers 1 and tier 2, a lot of the changes are very similar, just adjusting for that intensity difference. Next slide, please. For tiers 3 and 4, no changes were recommended. These are mainly floodplain and meant for conservation. As the code is currently written, it would not hinder, the development of the golf course into trails and recreation space. But again, we didn't want to tweak those at all. Tier 5, again, no changes are recommended. This was also meant to be a pretty high density tier in the middle of the Hidden Hills neighborhood. However, the main parcel that is developable currently has a development application, or they may have a land disturbance permit in. And so we just didn't feel that any changes would be necessary there. Finally, the last kind of key to this puzzle is the floor area ratio. So in our normal standard zoning districts, we don't have this. However, in the Hidden Hills overlay, this is in there. And as many of you have heard tonight, how do we attract the types of development we actually want to see? Well, this is a really great tool because in this, we can provide incentives for the development that the community wants to see. And part of our survey was polling the community on what they want to see. And the highest responses were for restaurants and cafes, any use that has, a restaurant or cafe that has outdoor seating, high quality grocery stores, medical office even. And so we were able to add these incentives into the floor area ratio requirements. So we did raise them a little bit, or not, we didn't actually raise the floor area ratio. However, I wanted to provide this graphic here so you could envision what those numbers mean. The maximum height for tier 1 is 5 stories, and the maximum height for tier 2 was 4 stories. So we made sure that the floor area ratio complied with that and aligned properly, while still allowing for these development incentives. So again, this is how we can help attract the types of development that we want to see by providing developers with additional density and height or intensity through the floor area ratio tool. So that's all I have for you right now. I'd love to take questions and hear your feedback. Thank you.
So at this time, we will allow 5 minutes for people who are in support to speak. So we're going to do 5 minutes for support. All right. Miss Phyllis, are you in support?
Yes, good evening again. I'm Phyllis Frierson. I live in the Hidden Hills community, and I am president of the Greater Hidden Hills Community Development Corporation. And I just wanted to speak in favor of this application. We have worked very hard with the Department of Planning and Sustainability to bring our overlay code into to address current conditions. And we are very excited about what we think these changes will do to help greatly position our community for the future development that's really already underway in those areas. And so I just commend the Department of Planning and Sustainability for their efforts, and I respectfully request that this application be approved.
Thank you so much. Mr. Parson? Mr. Burton, you want to speak?
Rod, you're on.
Yes, there we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I can't see my video, but you can hear me on my audio. All right. Good. I'm Rod Frierson, president of Hidden Hills Civic Association. I'm representing 1,640 homes in this community. We have been very much involved in the planning of the Great Hidden Hills CDC, and we think these revisions are going to be beneficial for future planned development along the commercial corridors that have been talked about during this presentation. Currently, there are development plans within the Hidden Hills community in the Tier 5 that won't be impacted. They do have their own standards that they are meeting now. But what we're trying to do is make sure that the surrounding corridors, the Covingtons, the Harrison, the Panolas, and the Young Roads, are all given the tools that they need so they can bring into the development plans in those spaces. We think this is a real good revision to bring it in line with the current standards with the planning department. And we're looking forward to doing more in this space to advance more attractive businesses into this community. So we are in favor of the changes to the Hidden Hills overlay district plans. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Miss Valerie? Miss Valerie Cone-Q?
Okay. Good evening again. I am all in favor. I own property along the Covington Highway corridor. And yes, I'm all for seeing nice restaurants, sit-down restaurants, quality food stores like I would say Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, things of quality, things of healthy benefits like the northern side of town. We are longing for these changes. We need these changes. These changes are appropriate for this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Miss Karen?
These are the types of ordinances that we've been needing to get the kind of density that we need to be able to attract the kinds of businesses and other services that we need in this area. So I'm in great favor of these ordinances being approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to speak in favor of approval? All right, seeing none at this time, we will give 10 minutes to any opposition. Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition?
I'm not seeing any hand.
Yep, I don't see any either. So at this time, any council members have any questions? Miss Elizabeth?
I make a motion to approve.
A second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve the amendments, and it has been properly seconded, so we are ready for a vote.
Just one moment while I pull up my roll call. Dennis Allen,
Can we make sure he's muted? He's unmuted so he can speak.
I approve the motion.
Elizabeth Andrews,
Yay.
Caitlin Brewster,
Yay.
I'm unmuted.
Peter Butts,
Yeah.
So they know.
Kanisha Calhoun,
Yay.
Yay.
Barbara Campbell,
Aye.
Barbara Campbell.
I said aye.
Thank you. Malia Evans
Yay.
and Florence Shafiq.
Yay. Approve.
Motion passes unanimously with 8 in support of the approval.
Right. Alrighty. Okay, so
Trisha, did you have something else you wanted to note? Sorry, I just saw her hand, Malia.
Yes, thank you. Just very quickly, I would just love to thank the community members who've been involved in this process and those who have been, part of my steering committee and very, very involved in helping me develop these standards. And thank you so much for the care and time that you've put into this. I meant to say this during my presentation, so I apologize for missing that. But yes, thank you all very much.
all right. So this conclude our agenda items.
Just need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Yay.
All right.
I think everybody says yay. Mhm. Thanks everybody for your patience.
Would you like me to run through the roll for
Yeah.
adjournment?
You can.
No, I think that
Dennis.
was
I think it's
I think that
fine.
was unanimous.
I think it's
Yeah, I think it
unanimous.
was unanimous.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call
unless someone
unanimous.
just wants to stay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shannon. So
All right.
it has been motioned and properly second and voted. So at this time, the meeting is adjourned.
All right, meeting has adjourned at 8:22 p.m. Great job, Community Council 5. I think, we improved from our last meeting and keeping it under 2 hours.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
You as
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you.